Hello everyone, my name is Ricardo and we are back with another video in our series of following the Alfred all-in-one adult book. You can find it on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. We are on page 13. And so in this book, on page 12, we focused on understanding the treble clef, what it is. We also talked about all of the notes on the keys, hand placement, hand fingering. So these are all things that you should remember. If you don't remember them, I recommend that you please do go back to the video prior to that, because as we progress in this book, they are going to not baby you anymore. This is a method book. So a method book is to teach you things. It's going to continuously teach you things, but it is not going to be reviewing things from page 13. It's only going to be progressing. And so that is what we are all about, is progressing. That is my main message when I teach. It's not about being perfect. I know we have the world like they're being perfect and you have to be the best musician. And I mean, you got to practice 40,000 hours a day. And then that's your goal. Do it. Not taking that away for you. But for me, I'm not about perfection. I'm about progression. And so, yeah, so let's look at on page 13. And I'll have a picture of it up on the screen for you to see. So we had these boxes. Everything that you see that is in red and pink is important. It is your duty and job to memorize and learn. Not just memorize, but also learn what these things mean. So we had this thing called a quarter note. And the quarter note is the solid filled-in circle with a line on it. And in 4/4, in our time signature, which we'll get into moving forward when we start to work on the grand staff, we'll see the introduction of the time signature. But it's in 4/4 when we have a quarter note that equals 1 beat. Then we have a new word also as a half note. I'm not the biggest fan of how they are wording some of these terms, because it can get a little confusing, especially when I'm teaching students and they're just like, oh yeah, a short one and a long one. Because, well, what about if we get a dotted half note, right? You can't just describe it as a long one. You know, there has to be some type of fundamental numbers there. So once again, the quarter note gets 1 beat. And then we had this thing called a half note, which is a circle not filled in, okay? So a quarter note is a solid circle filled in, and a half note is a circle that's hollow. And so then we see under that it says clap or tap the following rhythm. Clap once to each note, counting aloud. Notice how the bar lines divide the music into measures of equal duration. So yeah, so we have 4 bars. You see they had these things called measure. Once again, that is written in red. And then under that, you see these little dashes here, every few notes. And you see under that it is called a bar line. A measure is divided by a bar line. All right. That is how we are able to count how many measures are within a certain staff or system. And the term you might have heard me use is staff. The term you might have heard me use is stanza. I prefer stanza. I think it sounds a bit more poetic. Okay, so just to review real quick, quarter note gets 1 beat. It's a circle shaded in with a line. And then a half note gets 2 beats with a circle that is not shaded in with a line, okay? So let's go ahead and play this example here of what I just read that said clap or tap the following rhythm. So we're just going to clap it, and I'm going to play it by just playing C. So let's just clap it. So once again, we always count to 4. So a quarter note is 1 beat, meaning it could be 1 number. So when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 quarter notes that I just counted, okay? Now a half note gets 2 beats, so it could get beats 1 and 2. And I demonstrate that. This is a half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Notice how I'm playing each note for 2 beats. You hear me count 1, 2, holding down a note, and then after I say 2 to go to 3, I lift up and I say 3, 4. That's 2 beats. Okay. So let's play this rhythm here. It just says clap it, clap or tap it. So we're going to clap it. I'm going to give us count of 4, and then we're going to come in and play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now some of you are saying, well, you're saying, hold it, why did you only clap once for the half note? Well, because if I was playing it, which I will do in this example, you'll see that when I go down just for 1, I'm going to hold it for 2 beats. I'm not going to play it twice, because now that's a quarter note or it's a different note. You got to hold it down for however long that beat is. And so it's that half note gets 2 beats. So I'm going to hold it down for 2 beats. So let's take it from the top again. This is playing. We're not playing Ode to Joy. We're playing the little part in the middle between the quarter note, half note, and the Ode to Joy. We're playing that little section of it. Okay. So I'm just going to use C with my thumb playing this rhythm. I'm going to do 4 counts again, and I'm going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice when you saw the circles that had the line with no shading in it, I held it for 2 beats, which were beats 3 and 4 in the second measure, and then in the fourth measure, there's 2 quarter notes, meaning that I have to hold it for the first 2 beats, 1 and 2, and then the last, there's 2 half notes, forgive me, and then in the last half note, I held it for beats 3 and 4. 3 and 4 equals 2 because that's 2 beats. All right, now let's get to Ode to Joy. Now the first thing it says clap or tap the rhythm, evenly counting aloud. So let's clap. And just before y'all start getting a little crazy, you might say 3, 3, 4, 5. It says fingers. So remember, in the last video, whenever you see numbers on top of a note, that is indicating or suggesting what fingers you should use. That is not you counting. So you should not be saying 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. No, that's not what we're doing, bro. That's not what we're doing, okay? So we're going to clap it first. The first note is going to be E, and we see that it's on the first line in treble clef. How do I know it's treble clef? Because of the sign to the left. The sign lets me know that it's treble clef, and I can confirm it because I know that the first line in treble clef is E, and that's what the note is telling me to play is E. So it's telling me to clap. We're going to do the instructions. It says clap. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the first stanza or system. Now we're gonna go to the second system, and this should be starting on E again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Number 2, it says play and sing or say the finger numbers. All right, so saying the finger numbers is different from what we just did, which was counting the beats. Now we're going to sing 3, 3, 4, 5 because it's telling us to do that. This is number 2, and this is Ode to Joy. We're not playing it. I'm going to take it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1. All right, number 3, it says play and count. All right, which is what we kind of already did, but I'm gonna do it out loud with playing versus clapping. So now we're not counting we're not saying the fingers, we're counting the beats, which is up to 4. Once you get to 4, it goes back to 1. There are 4 beats in each measure. We can confirm that because we see in the first measure there are 4 quarter notes. How many beats does one quarter note get? 1. What's 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1? 4. All right, what about the last measure in the first stanza? We have 4 measures, so the fourth measure, I see there's 3 notes. How can it be 3 notes? And you say we got to equal 4. Well, I see 2 quarter notes. How many beats does a quarter note equal? 1. There's 2, so that means there's 2 beats for that quarter note. All right, what about that D? Well, that D is a half note. So because that D is a half note, it gets 2 beats. So 2 quarter notes plus 1 half note equals 4. We can confirm that all the way through when we see that each measure has a total of 4 beats, whether it's a quarter note, half note, or a quarter note and half note together. All right, now we're going to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite simple. Quite simple, right? Lastly, number 4, they want us to play and sing or say the notes out loud. I can tell y'all, I'm not about to sing. It is almost 12 o'clock and I am tired. I got work in the morning. Gotta get up in the morning. So we about to just say these note names out loud. All right. Remember, the two black notes going down one is going to be C. From the 3 black notes going down from the first one is going to be F. All right. So this is how you can remember these things. C, 2 black notes. C, C, F, F, F. All right. Now we're going to play this. I'm going to slow it down even more. And I'm going to say the notes aloud so we can start getting these notes together. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, E, D, D. Whew. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, D, C, C. All right, that was pretty simple, guys. This is page 13. Yo, this is, a week of work in the sense of not just what's on page, but even getting familiar with your keyboard, right? And getting familiar with quarter notes and half notes, understanding them, playing them, and trying to figure out, okay, how can I do it? You might say, let me just do a quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so it's that simple, guys. We just had to make sure we're setting time aside to focus on some of our fundamentals and having fun, and this is the end of the video, so you need to leave, go ahead, but I like to do a little recap. So I'm talking about my personal experience with playing piano and how you can learn. So I'm a musical instructor, and so at the school that I'm at, I'm working with people who have been in the industry for years. I mean, they've been in it so long that they actually was going to retire. I think they were running already a music school business and they ended up selling it and retiring, I want to say. And then I think like people were still like trying to, hey, like we want work, what's going on? And so they ended up opening up another this music school that I work in now, and we actually just won an award for like the best school or the best establishment in the city that we're in. And so it's a blessing. But what I noticed is, for me personally, when I first started teaching these kids, because of how I grew up and how I grew up playing, I wanted to teach them in a way that they were going to learn technique and they were going to learn how to read and learn the theory, because I learned it late, right? In my opinion, I didn't start learning theory until I was in 10th grade. And so I feel like, you're young, start learning it now. But then, when I was working with one of my instructors, he was telling me how he teaches, and he's like, I use a book, but that's not the first thing I get them in, right? I want them to get familiar with it. And I think that's something that I lacked when I was teaching, is wanting my students to get familiar and fall in love with the instrument before giving them the substance and the material, right? And so for you, as you're learning this instrument, don't be so caught up in all the books. Don't be so caught up in trying to learn every single song because of a tutorial, because you like it. Familiarize yourself with your instrument. Focus on the basics. These 2 lessons, page 12 and 13, that's about a week worth of work in the sense of focusing on clapping and learning the notes. Because oftentimes, and even looking and learning where the notes go on the treble clef, because I have students, who have been working with me for 2-3 months, and they're not learning. They just want to go ahead. They're not reading the material. They're not reading the stuff that is in pink and red that is telling you what you need to know. Because I'm telling you, you get to page 30, there's no more babying you. There's no more, oh, this is E, this is F. No, they're expecting you to know it now. So I get this might be easy, but ask yourself, Okay, I can play it, but can you play it because the notes are written, or can you play it because the notes aren't because you know what the notes are? Can you tell me that on the third line in treble clef that is B? Can you tell me that on the fourth space it's E? Can you tell me that on the second space it's A? Can you just verbally be able to tell me that? And if you're saying you know, don't keep moving on the bass clef, because the next time we're working on this bass clef, do your best to get a grasp of the notes and the ledger lines and the spaces and treble clef before moving on to the next page, okay? And that's the end of this video. Have a good night.